Hey Credit Warriors, welcome to the show, and I have a special guest on the show today. He has over 200,000 followers on TikTok. He goes by the name Leonidas. He's a credit card, travel hacking, credit hacking business expert. How you doing, man?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I've been watching your TikToks for a while, so it's great to actually finally have you on the show and stuff. From Texas.
Yes.
So how did you get in? Yeah, let's start from the beginning. How did you get into the credit game and develop it and stuff?
Yeah, good question. Honestly, just before the credit game, I was reselling books on Amazon. Did six figures in 60 days. And basically, in order to scale it, I needed more capital. And so I started getting into credit so that way I can scale the business. But then actually just ended up loving the credit game and transitioned from selling books on Amazon to just strictly credit.
And so how many credit cards do you have right now?
I have around 50 credit cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's actually 50 lines on your account, 50 lines of credit that show up on personal and business?
Yeah, personal and business. The majority of them are on the business side. Yeah, I try to leverage the business side more so that way I can keep my personal credit profile strong.
Yeah, because obviously business doesn't show up on your personal credit. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's a great tip. So I saw your TikTok a few days ago, how to build a 700 credit score in 3 months.
Okay.
I've had another credit expert on the show who wrote a book, Your Score. He's Anthony Davenport. He does like credit stuff for a lot of like NBA players and NFL athletes and stuff. Credit consulting. So his method was a little different to yours. So can you explain your method of building a 700 score in 3 months?
Sure. Yeah. Building a 700 score from scratch. Basically, the first thing is just to establish some type of credit. So that's why I recommend adding like one or two authorized users or trade lines, basically adding yourself onto someone else's credit card. That way you can inherit some type of credit profile, credit history, credit score. And then using I would usually recommend two companies, self-lender, which it will report an installment loan versus reporting a credit card since you've already added a couple of trade lines. And then number three is just adding your rental payment onto your credit profile. So you can use Rental Karma or Rent Reporters. There's another one called Boom Pay. Those are all great to report your rental payments, and they can show your previous rental payments as far back as 4 years. So that'll be primary age history that you can add right away. And then, so that's what's really, powerful for that. So once you do those three things, you've inherited some credit history. Now you've built some credit history. Now you can go in and try and apply for a starter credit card. Capital One Quicksilver, Discover It. And at that point, if it still fails, go to your secured cards. So that's kind of that's the way I do it, because you don't only want to have, credit cards reporting on your credit profile. You want to have a mix of credit, which is where self-lenders and rent reporters is very beneficial.
I see. And so in 3 months, you should be able to get to 700.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Okay, so you talk a lot about once you've built your credit, then what do you do with it? I know you talk a lot about building up points and stuff for travel and the perks you can get from that as well, travel credit cards. So what would you recommend? What kind of setup would you recommend for someone who wants to get into leveraging credit cards for free travel and stuff like that?
For traveling, yeah. So my biggest thing is KISS method, KISS. Keep it super simple. So for me, I love Chase. So I just maximize the Chase trifecta. So my version of the Chase trifecta is going to be the Freedom Unlimited Chase Inc., because that doesn't report to your personal, and the Sapphire Reserve. So that's kind of my favorite go-to, because I love Chase, love the points value of Chase, the flexibility, and the limits as well. You get great limits with them as well.
Yeah, it's great value through the Sapphire Reserve booking the travel portal, 1.5 cents per point. I actually downgraded my Sapphire Reserve this year, so now I just have the Inc. Preferred and 3 Freedoms. So I've got kind of a quadfecta going on. But,
gotcha.
It's a great card. Maybe I'll actually apply again, because it's been 48 months since I had the bonus. So technically I could apply again and get a bonus from it.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so I like to combine that with status, right? So once you get a maximum amount of points, to leverage it more, it's just about getting status, hotel status, car rental status, airline status. That way you get early check-in, late checkout, free upgrades, dining credits, and all that jazz. So
how are you doing the status for yourself? Are you going through Amex to get those statuses, or?
So that's one way. Yes, the Amex Platinum, you get the gold status with Marriott, gold status with Hilton, the car rental status. That's one way, and then the other way is called status matching. So that's the other way to do it as well. You can start with Best Western, which is like a low level hotel, but once you have one top status with one hotel, you can match it to all the other ones and car rental companies, and boom, across the board you got top status. Now you can leverage your points much more that way.
Yeah, that's a great tip, actually. That's awesome. So what are some of the coolest travel redemptions you've done with credit card points?
I did a couple, but I think it's cool just because the way I did it. I'm sure there's much better ways to do it, but just the way I did it, the funnel, I thought was pretty cool just because it was kind of intricate. Basically, it was just a sign-up bonus with the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Got the 100,000 points with that. However, at the time, I didn't have the reserve. My mother had the reserve. So once I got my preferred, I got the 100,000 points. I transferred it to her reserve, and then with that, I bought Airbnb gift cards from the grocery store. That way, I can do pay yourself back feature and get 50% off. And so I doubled my double the amount that I could use for Airbnb since I used pay yourself back feature. So then we were able to book a whole lodge. It was like almost a $3,000 lodge, up in the mountains for skiing and whatnot. So yeah, I like that one just because it was kind of intricate, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I used that a lot during the pandemic and stuff because wasn't doing much traveling,
Yeah.
So you've talked a lot about let's get into the business stuff now, because I've seen
Sure.
on your TikTok and stuff. I saw a few days ago you had some big bus that you'd bought and stuff, and you talked a lot about using credit to leverage it to give yourself business opportunities, right? So
yeah,
if you could talk a little bit about that stuff, that would be awesome.
Yeah, honestly, at the end of the day, because I used to do a lot of credit card churning and whatnot, and do travel hacks and free traveling, which was a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, you're not really creating another source of income. So I realized that, I can take advantage of all those tricks and hacks and actually utilize it more so into business. And if I put into an actual business model, I'm generating income. I'm generating extra income, another source of income. And at the same time, expenses come with it. So then I can use the cards to continue to gain more points. So that's what I do now at the end of the day. And, I just got this house, right? Got approved for
that's nice.
Yeah, got approved for $1 million mortgage. Only showing my bank statements, and that was by leveraging credit. But I couldn't have gotten here to this point if I was just only travel hacking. And so instead, I transitioned using what I learned, but incorporating to business to create additional revenue. That way, I can get things like these. So So with the buses, back to the buses, basically. Yeah, you're getting 0% APR credit cards, that's 12 or more months for 0% APR, which is practically free money from the bank. Purchasing a party bus, we purchased a party bus. We actually found it online just through private sellers like on Facebook Marketplace or whatnot. Got it for $10K. And yeah, we had a friend who was already doing the business, so we were getting some insight on that. And yeah, so now, depending on which city you live in, we can rent it out anywhere from $250 to $350 an hour. And so what we did, there was a PGA Tour in Arizona, and so we were able to utilize our buses for the PGA Tour. And so within 2 weeks, we actually made about $17,000 in about 2 weeks, because it was for the PGA Tour. So we were charging top dollar, and it was just going on and on all for those 2 weeks.
So you basically made almost double your money back in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in 2 weeks. So I'd rather do that. Yeah, I'd rather do that than just only focus on flying out, because I'm getting both. At the end of the day, I'm getting both, and I'm actually creating a source of income as well. So
yeah, it's funny when a lot of people, they're doing the points and miles game, and they sort of they're collecting these points currencies, and then they come to the point where you realize, wait a minute, the US dollar, it's also technically kind of like a points currency. I could just collect that, you know, and then I can use it for whatever I want.
Right.
You got any other examples of like, you know, how to leverage credit for business? Or
yeah, I mean, so that's one. Another one is I have I only have one left, but Slingshots. It's a 3-wheeled vehicle, so I use that and I rent it out on Turo. So I get those anywhere between like $10,000 to $15,000, and at the same time you can easily flip those. So I purchased one for $10,000 from Utah, drove it down to Arizona. 3 days later, sold it for $18,000. So basically within a week. I leveraged my credit, bought it for $10K, and then made $18K in total. Wow. Sold it for $18K. Anyways, you can rent out those Slingshots for, depending where you are, what state you are, but $100 a day. There's some hot spots, like hot tourist areas, where you can rent it out for $100 to $200 an hour. So basically, that will pay for itself. If you got an auto loan, right? If you financed it, the auto loan for that, for like a $15,000 would be around $300 plus $50 insurance, $350. So, I mean, one weekend, a few days will cover the entire expense of the thing, and anything additional would just be money into your pocket.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Guys, you should pay attention to this guy. This is gold, right? So yeah, thanks so much for sharing that. Like, it's really interesting. I'm inspired, I'll definitely look into more of these things myself. Right now, I'm actually doing an Airbnb.
Yes,
so kind
awesome.
of leveraging my credit in that way to build. But, the price of lumber has just gone up.
Yeah. I mean, that's another reason why I moved out here to Texas, because started a second company. It's a construction development company. So leveraging my credit again. Awesome. Since I've been in the credit space, I scaled my business with credit. So I created a positive cash flow with my first business, and using that positive cash flow for my second business, plus my capital, my credit. So this year, honestly, this this construction company is gonna get to 8 figures, and that's
that's great, man.
Leveraging credit.
Awesome. So just lastly, let's just talk a little bit about your like TikTok and social media. Like, how did you kind of get started on that? Because you got some viral videos on there, man.
Yeah, how did I get started on it? I was just trying to find a way to just talk about credit and without spending money. So social media was the way. So I just kept at it, trial and error. I did a lot of good things, a lot of terrible videos, but it was just trial and error. And then I just found my sweet spot after so much practice. And so I'm getting, the majority of my business with zero ad spend for my credit business.
That's awesome. And so, you've got a credit company as well, right? That helps people improve their credrit and that kind of thing.
Yep, exactly. I have a credit business. So, and most of the times, most of the credit companies out there, they'll do like spend thousands on Facebook ads, advertising, but I spend $0 and do it all through social media. So
cool. So we'll put your TikTok and stuff. And guys, if you're interested, check him out on TikTok. You can also find his credit company through the links in his profile and all that stuff.
Right.
Thanks very much for being on the show, man. You're kind of like the let's go guy, right? That's like your catchphrase. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Yep. That's my catchphrase.
Cool, man. Guys, follow me on social media. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll see you next time.